Hello and welcome back to Mother Tongue, your eyes, ears and finger on the pulse for all parents around the world. Let's get going, shall we?
So to kick off our mini-series, Frankie, we are talking all about exploring Saudi, which I'm so excited about getting all your tips on this because I've only actually been to Riyadh, so there's still so much of Saudi for me to explore. And I feel like things are changing all the time at the moment in Saudi. There's so much to see, so much to do. And I think we're just going to give kind of like an overview of all of that for our final episode of this mini-series. So obviously you are based in Riyadh, and I know you haven't visited every single corner of Saudi yet, but I know that you'll probably know a lot more than I do. So this series has mostly been about life in Riyadh. I mean, we have talked about relocating to Saudi in general, but I think let's start with Jeddah. Can you talk to us a little bit about Jeddah? What is the vibe in Jeddah? What can we expect from a visit to Jeddah?
Yeah, so someone once said to me, which I think was such a good way of explaining it. So Jeddah is very much the LA vibes, and Riyadh is very much the New York vibes. Like everyone's here in Riyadh for business, and then Jeddah just feels very boho, very chilled, lovely and welcoming. They've got the Corniche, which is a really gorgeous walk along the seafront. And it's just a really, really chilled place. As soon as you get there, you feel much more relaxed. I think it's being by the sea. But their style is different as well. Like here, I feel like the fashion here is much more kind of straight-laced. Whereas when you're in Jeddah, you feel much more boho vibes. Like I would happily walk around in like a kaftan style with a jean. It's got a really good chilled energy. And they've got the Jeddah Yacht Club, which is amazing. They've got some really fantastic malls, and I'm going to reference this in our show notes, but there's a really gorgeous boutique called Homegrown. And it's so lovely. It's all local brands, but you go in and it's really boutique style. You feel like you're in Europe. Like it's just got such a good feel. We don't really have anything like that here in Riyadh. So yeah, I love Jeddah. I think, and it's such a short flight. It's such an easy place to get to. So I think we should spend more time there, actually. I say to my husband, we should go there. Because we've also got Kobar, which is also on the beachfront, which is near Bahrain. And that is also very chilled, apparently. Like really, like I imagine like how it's like, you know where Contour 102 is?
Yeah.
You know, like that's quite boutiquey down there, isn't it? It's quite like beachy, like yeah, it gives me that kind of energy. When from what I've heard about it. So that's another really good little spot. And you can get the train from Riyadh to there, which is definitely something we're going to look to do. And everyone that lives there loves it there and tells us all about it. So we're really excited to visit there. But yeah, there's so much in Saudi. We've got AlUla, which is honestly bucket list. You have to go. You absolutely have to go.
So just coming back before we come on to AlUla, because I do have so many questions about AlUla. With Kobar and Jeddah, I mean, are we talking like Abu Dhabi's version, like more chilled, more relaxed version of Dubai? Or are we talking Oman in terms of like less infrastructure, not as built up?
No,
what's the vibe?
I'd say Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Abu Dhabi vibes, yeah.
I mean, obviously, again, now, like, Dubai is kind of still seen as the glitz and the glam. And Abu Dhabi is kind of becoming this cultural hub. Would you say that Jeddah kind of personifies any particular persona? Do they kind of own anything? Is like all the culture or the art scene or anything more Jeddah-centric?
I would say yes, exactly that. So like a bit more artsy, a bit more chilled, a bit more just relaxed and less hustle and bustle. Like Riyadh just feels really busy, really hectic. A lot of the work is here, like I say, lots of professionals are here. Whereas Jeddah feels a bit more wholesome. Wholesome's the word. And same with Kobar, from what I've been told, like lots of yoga studios, really like boutique food places, just yeah, a bit more chilled, which is great because they're just the perfect, complementary situation. You've got one really busy and one really chilled, but definitely feels more like Abu Dhabi, because Abu Dhabi's a bit like that, isn't it? Like it's a bit more
Yeah.
relaxed, a bit more family, a
Yes,
bit more
exactly.
wholesome. Yeah,
And
yeah,
a bit more, I mean, again, like, would you go on holiday to Jeddah or Colbert? Like, are there more
yeah,
resorts
yeah.
in
I
those
think you would.
locations?
To be honest, there's not really many resorts in the whole of Saudi that's not AlUla or
Red
Red
Sea.
Sea, because historically that like there hasn't really been like we've got a really lovely resort here called Nofa in Riyadh, which is a safari resort, a Radisson collection, but we don't really have many hotels that are resort style, even in Jeddah. Most of them are in Bahrain, which is obviously a bit further on from Khobar Dammam, but we don't really have any like big names here yet. I think it will come, but yeah, we don't really have that.
Okay, interesting. But I'm guessing if you wanted a bit of sea and sun, are you going to be heading to Khobar and Jeddah, or are you going to the Red Sea?
Oh, I'd love to go to the Red Sea, but it's so expensive. So expensive. And again, that will change, but it's at the moment, I think it's the Ritz-Carlton. I need to double check what hotels are up there, but it's very, very exclusive at the moment. And like I say, that will change. But people do go to the Red Sea. There's another hotel, which I'll get the name of, but again, it's more professionals that are going there to work on the projects at the moment. But
Right.
those kind of hotels will become the kind of places that we can go and visit. The sea just looks incredible. Like with the Red Sea, it's literally like the Maldives. It's
Yeah.
just incredible. And in the show notes, we'll link some of the hotels that are there because there's these new ones that are like pods. I don't know if you've seen them over the sea.
Oh,
Really,
wow.
really futuristic. Yeah, really cool. That's just opened. So yeah, that's definitely on our bucket list. Obviously, being in Saudi, we definitely want to go across. But I would say if we tend to travel, AlUla, we would 100% go to multiple times. But if we tend to travel to a beach, we would usually go to Dubai or Bahrain or Oman if we wanted somewhere really close.
Okay, interesting. And Red Sea, just in terms of like distance, how easy is it to get there? Can you fly direct from Riyadh?
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah. I think you can fly directly. Um, I haven't looked into it yet, but you can. And even a lot of the people that we're friends with, they drive to a lot of different places. Like you can drive to Dubai, you can drive to Bahrain. I don't know if you can drive to the Red Sea yet, but yeah, there's definitely a direct flight. And a lot of people, like I say, are still working on these projects. Don't forget, it's all still very new. So it's still probably quite a lot of suits going down there as opposed to tourists. But again, that will change.
And then what about Neom? Talk to me about Neom. I'm very intrigued by Neom.
Yeah, I think all of us are. So this is the line, right?
Yeah.
So this is a whole city that they're creating. Again, I don't know when that's due to open, or what stage it is at or anything. I've got a lot of friends, husbands that work on it, but yeah, it's all a bit of a mystery, to be honest, even for someone based in Saudi. I don't know a lot about it, or when it's going to launch. But again, that will become another hub. There's so many projects that they're working on, honestly, these different areas that they're creating.
Mm.
Because there's Trojan, which is the new massive port that they're creating. So yeah, there's a lot going on. But I would say with regards to tourism and like travel, in a way, it's quite nice not to go somewhere too touristy and come and experience, like you say, like a Jeddah or a Khobar, or there's all these different little small areas that people are going to more and more now that have more authentic, Saudi style.
Yeah, sure. Sure. And then, I mean, obviously, religious tourism is such a big thing in Saudi. And I know, obviously, you're not Muslim, so you probably are not able to comment too much on this. Ooh,
Yeah, I just need to be careful with anything like about PIF and NEOM, and I don't know a lot, and that's probably better because I
that's
actually don't.
fine.
Yeah, so we'll keep it vague.
Okay, all right, that's fine, that's fine. So yeah, sorry, I'll come back to my question on
Yeah,
religious tourism. So I know you probably
yeah.
don't know a lot about this because obviously you're not Muslim, but you've obviously got Mecca and Medina,
Yeah,
which are two massive destinations for religious tourism.
yeah.
Tell me more about these places. Do only Muslims allowed to travel there? Because it's the pilgrimage rite is to Mecca.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can I'm sure you can probably travel there. You just can't go to, it's called Hajj, right? You
Yes.
can't go there. So yeah, I don't think tourists, it's not really a tourist hotspot. It's obviously very, very respectful for like you say, the Muslim culture and going there. You see a lot of people dressed to go there from Jeddah or Riyadh.
Yes.
Um, yeah, but honestly, I don't know, yeah, again, a huge amount about it because obviously it's not part of my world. But yeah, it just is so great that it's so close for them to be able to go and have that experience here. We've got a lot of friends that regularly go there, and to pay their respects. And yeah,
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 I mean, I hear it's people like they make the pilgrimage from all parts of the world to
yeah,
go to Mecca, which I think
mm,
is just incredible. And again, when I was flying over from Dubai to Riyadh, there were definitely a lot of people who were stopping off in Riyadh before making their final leg over.
yeah,
And I believe it's like you go for a set amount of time. I mean, again, if you're interested in this, maybe don't get all your knowledge from this particular podcast,
yeah,
but I just think it's so incredible that there's such a diverse range of offerings in terms of travel and tourism in Saudi. And
yeah.
another place before we move on to AlUla, which I know is very topical at the moment, is Hegra. Now I know
Mm.
Hegra is quite a famous archaeological site that I'd actually love to visit. How
So
far away is that from you?
I think that's part of AlUla.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So we went to AlUla and Hegra's there. So Hegra is the sister to Petra, and
Wow.
so yeah, it's all like the inscriptions into the rocks, and it's just meant to be incredible. We actually didn't get there because we only had 3 days in AlUla, but it's about an hour's flight, 45-minute flight. So it's really,
Okay.
really close. Yeah, really close. And everything that we're referencing here is about an hour's flight. So nothing's that far, even though Saudi is huge. It's actually all quite close by plane. The places that tourists tend to go or expats tend to go.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Saudi is huge, and I don't think
Mhm.
people ever really quite understand just how big Saudi is in comparison to somewhere like the UAE. I mean,
Yeah,
I'd like to say it's probably 10 times the size of the UAE. You can
I'd
fly
say
over
more.
Saudi and have desert and desert and desert for ages before you come across anything, right?
Yeah, and there's an area called, I want to say the Hidden Quarter, but I'd need to check. And a lot of friends have driven through it, and apparently it's completely untouched, incredible desert. I've got a friend who is, she's got an Instagram account for just kind of camping here and being in the desert here. And it's fascinating. Again, we'll put it in the show notes, but she really goes out a lot into the desert and just the experiences. Like they went out recently and they took a big projector and the kids watched a Disney film on a big rock out in the desert. And it was just incredible. So
Oh,
yeah,
so
you can
fun.
also, yeah, you can definitely also experience the desert in a way that perhaps we never did in Dubai, really. And if we did, it was commercial, whereas here it feels a bit more authentic. Like you'll
I
go
love
out and
that.
yeah, and there's a place called I can't remember what it's called, but there's a shark tooth area because obviously it was sea at one point, and you can go and it's called shark tooth hunting, and the kids love it. And you can go and pick up all these like fossils and shark teeth, and there's definitely
Wow.
like yeah, a lot going on outside of the city for sure.
Well, actually, that was going to come on to my next question, which is I think they call it the edge of the world, which is also
Yeah,
in Riyadh, in the, I'm going to say this wrong, Tuwaiq mountain range.
yeah. So we have never been, I must confess. There's do you know what? I lived in Dubai for 5 years and I never went up the Burj Khalifa. So I am
What?
just yeah, I am the worst tourist there ever was. But Edge of the World is again a bucket list thing. I'm sure you'll relate because you were also a mum. I'm not taking a 4-year-old and 6-year-old to the Edge of the World. Like, I do not want that on me. Like, no. So I haven't been yet, and I'd love to go alone, but it's just finding the window of opportunity because it's about a 3-hour drive from Riyadh. So for me, I don't ever have the time to really drive 3 hours out of Riyadh to overlook a massive canyon that I'm definitely going to be the one person that falls off it. So it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
But amazing that it's there. Amazing that there's
Incredible.
such a diverse range of landscapes that you can see when you're visiting Saudi.
Yeah, for sure. There's honestly so much. And I feel like Edge of the World, like, it's such a great moment for tourists. Like, when you've got people coming to visit, that's definitely something that a lot of people have wanted to do.
Yeah.
And just even going out into the desert, like, it's just a really lovely experience. It's, the red sands, and it's just, yeah, it's very untouched and very authentic when you get past a certain point, which is great because you've got so much going on in Riyadh with Riyadh seasons and the hustle and bustle. But then you've got this completely, like, it's almost like tranquil area as soon as you drive out. It's so lovely.
And then my next question was, if you were to go away for a weekend, if you were just to nip away for a weekend, where would you go?
In Saudi, I would go to AlUla again and again. Like, it honestly is incredible. The thing about AlUla is it's silent. It's absolutely silent. There's no noise anywhere, no cars, no anything. And also the thing I love, we stayed at the Habitats and there's not really any internet signal. There's no music. It just was so quiet. Just read my book, no kids, did yoga under the stars. Honestly, you have to go. You absolutely have to go. And obviously the elephant in the room for a lot of expats is, why would I pay to go on holiday when there's no alcohol in any of these hotels? There is no alcohol in any of the hotels in Saudi, but I actually love it because it means there's also no drama, there's no headaches. There's just
Quite literally.
a very chilled, lovely experience, especially in AlUla. And then we went round to Banyan Tree, which is the second hotel. So you've got Habitas and then you've got Banyan Tree, which are the two kind of main ones. And there are more, like in Old Town AlUla and like near Hegra, like you said. But these are the two kind of, I'd say, like the biggest brand names out there and the big ones that people tend to go to. And yeah, it's just silent. You can get the bikes round. And it's just, honestly, I recommend it to anyone. I've never been anywhere like it. And it's my husband's favorite place in the world. And he's a very stressed man. And he says it's the only place in the world he just doesn't feel any stress. I think brilliant.
And also the weather's very, very different there compared to what it's like in Riyadh because you're so
Yeah,
much
it's
further
cold.
south. It's colder, right?
Yeah, which again, we loved. It was such a novelty.
Yeah.
So it's quite cold, which is great because it just feels like really refreshing. Like, you can breathe differently in AlUla, whereas in Riyadh it feels very dusty, very like sandy.
Yeah.
Whereas AlUla, you can really just sit with it and just be. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. And then if I was traveling outside, if I was always allowed to go to the Maldives, I would go to the Maldives. But I don't think that's an option. But we do love Oman. We love Oman. We love coming back to Dubai, but we don't come back a lot. But we've got so many places on our doorstep. We go to Sri Lanka every year. That's only a 4-hour flight, direct flight on Sri Lankan Airlines. So yeah, we're really lucky that we've got such amazing places on our doorstep. So again, if you're coming as an expat and you're feeling like you're not really finding your feet, it's great that you can kind of disconnect, get out, and then come back and reset. It's a great hub for that.
Yeah, and I think that's the same for the Middle East in general because we are literally in the center of the world. It never feels overly overwhelming to get anywhere, really. I mean, we've got Europe to one side, Asia to the other side, and so much to explore in the Middle East. And I just think regardless of what you're looking for in terms of a holiday, you can find it within a 4-hour radius and
So
it
good.
can be so diverse. As you mentioned, I mean, in Saudi alone, if you're looking for something more relaxed and more zen and that kind of whole like switching off and disconnecting. You've got AlUla, but then moving back to AlUla also do these amazing massive festivals. They have lots of exhibitions. I mean, it seems like it's really becoming a hub of its own in terms of tourism.
For sure. And like Elephant Rock, which is, as it says on the tin, a giant rock that looks like an elephant. You cannot explain it. Well, you can, I just did. But when you get there, it's just insane. It's this huge, giant elephant rock. And you're walking around and you just feel so serene. And then you go into Old Town and it's just like so authentic, so beautiful.
What
But like
can
you
you
say,
find in Old Town? I'm just curious.
yeah, Old Town's a lot of like, it feels a bit like Europe, to be honest. It's lots of like little boutique stores, so little boutique restaurants, little local homegrown brands. There's an amazing restaurant called Somewhere, which we do actually have in Riyadh as well, but their one is just incredible, really green, really beautiful. So yeah, and you can get the horses out in the desert. There's hot air balloon trips. It's definitely a tourist hub, and I would recommend it to anyone because also it's only going to get busier. So try and go before it becomes too busy and you've missed the boat. Yeah.
I agree. And then before we wrap up this episode, Frankie, can you give any last tips and trips for this season for anybody who's listening, who's relocating to Saudi?
It's really funny because when I've told people I'm doing this series, they've said, no, don't tell everyone about our hidden gem. Like we feel so lucky to be here. And it feels like everyone's going to start coming over to Saudi. So the time of this series is so fantastic, but it is such a hidden gem. Honestly, there's so much narrative around Saudi all the time, and actually it's been so nice to do this series to be actually able to say what it's like to be here, how amazing it is to be here, how welcomed I feel here. And anyone that's thinking of moving, I'm telling you now, it's the best thing we've ever done, and I will never regret this decision. And you won't know unless you try. So as with every expat move, you've just got to do it. You've just got to do it and then work it out when you get there, because you'll never regret the flight hang on, let me remember this. Hang on. You'll never regret the flight you took. Yeah. So you'll never regret the flight you took. You'll only regret the flight you didn't take. So that's what I always think whenever I think about any move from Dubai or the one to Saudi, neither which had I ever been to the country I was moving to, but I knew I wouldn't regret not getting on that plane. No, I wouldn't regret. I knew I wouldn't regret getting on that plane. I would regret not getting on that plane.
Yeah?
Is that right?
I think so. Oh, that is such a lovely thing to leave us with, Frankie. And for the last time for this season, can you just tell our lovely listeners where they can find you if they want to reach out and ask you any questions?
So I am at Frankie with an IE Hilton X on Instagram, and I would love to hear from anyone that's looking to make the move.
Thank you so much, Frankie. And thank you all so much for listening to this mini-series. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can find us on Instagram at We Are Mother Tongue. And please feel free to leave us a little comment. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time.
Thank you.